Welcome to episode 61 of the Kiss Army Thinks podcast. My name is Daphne.
And my name is Xander. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on what is effectively going to be called the calm before the storm. This episode is going to be kind of just a hit-and-run episode with several topics. Obviously, everybody knows that the end-of-the-road European leg has ended, and now Kiss is going to be on a month or two break, and then they're going to kick off the final 30 or so shows in around October. So today is just going to be kind of a catch-up episode, but before we get into anything, I want to sincerely thank everybody who is watching the show or has watched the show, and I want to welcome any new viewers to the show. I feel like after 60 episodes, I kind of forget to welcome any new viewers who may be joining us, this not late in the game, but after, of course, we've been starting. So I just want to welcome any new viewers who have been joining us. Maybe you haven't commented as much, or maybe this is your second episode or whatever, but just go ahead and leave me a comment on who you are, where you're from, why you like Kiss, or how you got into Kiss. I love talking with Kiss fans on their origin stories and all that. So, and the reason why I'm getting into that is because I actually want to get to right now a list of viewers that I want to thank who are fans of the show. They're always in the comment section. I'm always replying to them, and we're always having really cool discussions. So before we get too deep into the Kiss topics, I want to real quickly just thank a list of people real quickly. So here we go. Rapid fire. We got Randall Bounds, Bill Phelps, Matthew Hood, Henry Chin, Steve Anderson, Rex Metzer, Greg Sonic, Eddie Pavlor, Tony Ekman, Tom Tobin, Johnny Grosinger, Bubby Milhoen, Brian Stutter, Charles Ferrugia, Bjorn Again 76, Dakota Escher, Jason GNR Fan, Tom Dust, Thomas Hubner, Scott Bull, Bjarn Johansson 8415, Mick Seahorror Pop Culture, Derek Hill, and Darren Smith. I want to thank everybody for your support of the show, for watching and for messaging, leaving comments. And if I didn't say your name, it's not because I wanted to be exclusive or lead anybody out.
We still love you.
Yes, it's because these are the people who I see a lot in the comment section and who are fans of the show, fans of Kiss. So thank you so much. And then Daphne?
Yeah, and so we also wanted to kind of separately from our viewers and commenters, also wanted to shout out some of our favorite fellow Kiss YouTube channels. We kind of have a really nice little community going on here of Kiss podcasts and Kiss channels that are just friends, and they have sent us stuff, we've sent them stuff, we've met Rob, which I'll get to him, but and then you are going to be meeting up with some of these folks later on this year as well at a Kiss show. So really cool channels that you should all check out. We've got Right Between the Eyes, Kiss Army Nation, Tales of a Kiss Geek, Kiss Multi, You Wanted the Best, You Got the Best, In My Head, The Art of Guitar, It's All for You Demon, and Podcast Rock City.
Thank you, everybody, whether you're a channel or an individual or both. Thank you so much for your support. We're glad that you want to watch our show and hang out with us, and there's plenty of other Kiss podcasts, and so we're just glad that you're here with us. And so with that, we now want to get over to the Kiss Spotlight.
Oh, yes.
Of course, every episode we start about talking about the Kiss music. It is the foundation of Kiss. Nothing would exist without those four original members playing music. So Daphne, which album have you been jamming to recently or this week?
Yes, so my Spotlight, I know I've done this one before, and I'm pretty sure this may have been your last one, but I just can't lie.
Really?
It's Carnival of Souls.
Okay.
It's my favorite Kiss album at the moment. I just can't get enough of it.
Nice.
We were listening to it some in your car recently, but I've just been jamming to it on my own as well. It's just musically one of the most unique Kiss albums to me. I know it's not a favorite for a lot of people because it does divert so much from the sound that everybody's used to, but I really like that. I like artists that have such a variety of music that there's an album for every mood that you're in, you know what I mean? It's not all gonna sound the same, and I really appreciate that. And we've talked about it plenty of times, but this is like a Bruce album, start to finish, and I just can feel the heart and soul that he put into it.
A Bruce solo album featuring Kiss.
Pretty much, yeah, but I love it. I think it's so good. The songwriting is a lot more poetic, and some of the songs are very introspective. Some of them are just very observant of the world around us, very and worldly. Society. But I find the lyrics of these songs to be really interesting. I really like songs that you have to listen to multiple times to really fully grasp the concept of, to fully fathom them, if you will. And I feel like that's this album. So if on the first few listens it wasn't your favorite, I encourage you to try again, because I do feel like it's an album that continues to grow on you with every listen. And one thing that I noticed this time through listening to this album is I really love, don't get me wrong, I love Gene no matter what. I love Demon Gene. But I really like when I get to hear Gene sing as Gene and not as the demon, if you know what I mean. Because in a lot of songs, you know, he is kind of putting on that scary demon voice, which is iconic, and I love it, don't get me wrong. But I feel like on this album and some other Unmasked albums, you just get to hear his singing voice as it is, and he's a fantastic singer, and I think his singing voice is underrated, honestly.
It really is.
So I really love that about this album. Some songs that are sticking out to me this time, It Never Goes Away.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite, more acoustic-y sounding Kiss songs. Just the guitars, the instrumentation are just beautiful. It's so good. Can't get enough of In the Mirror.
That's my favorite.
It's so good. And then...
and Jungle.
Yes, I was about to say Jungle is probably in my top 10 favorite Kiss songs. I love Jungle. It's so good. And then another thing I noticed this time, the song Seduction of the Innocent.
Yeah.
Every time I hear that song, it reminds me of something, and I couldn't figure it out until recently, but it reminds me of the Beatles song Within You and Without You, Within You Without You, which is like a George Harrison, like kind of trippy song. But if you listen to those songs back to back, you can really hear it. There's just something about the vibe and the slow guitar. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I recommend listening to those two songs back to back.
Within You, Without You.
Yes.
I'll have to check it out.
Yes.
That's one I don't think I've heard before by the Beatles. I wonder if maybe
you may
Gene
not have.
Was he pulling some inspiration? Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe, but
that's really cool.
I recommend listening to them back to back, because I did that today just to see if I was right, and I was like, okay, yes, I am definitely getting those vibes.
That is so cool.
I just love this album. I really do.
You know what's a shame is that this is the only album that Kiss has not played a single song from live.
Not a single one?
They've even played the Elder songs from the Elder live. They've played...
See, I didn't know that they... I mean,
this is the
it makes
only
sense,
Kiss album
but,
where
that's such a bummer.
not a single song has been played live, which is atrocious.
I wish they liked it as much as I do.
Yeah, and I mean, I see why they don't, because...
I understand, too.
For them, it was just...
Well, and...
They only released it because it got leaked.
Yeah, and I don't feel like this album resonates with Gene and Paul as much as it did with Bruce and as much as it does with me. So I understand, but I wish they also recognize that there are fans that love it and would love to hear
I think if they would...
At least something.
I think if Gene and Paul would, like, honestly look past their own personal experience with that album, because, yeah, they were distracted by the obvious reunion tour. And so it's like, oh, that album got leaked. Okay, crap, we'll just throw something together, put it out. Now let's focus on what we're doing. You know, kind of whatever. It's like the bastard child of Kiss, if you will. I think if they would just, like, get over themselves and actually listen to the album, they would, like, realize there's some really good stuff here. At least some Kiss Cruise-worthy stuff. Right. The fact that Jungle has not been played live on the Kiss Cruise. The fact that songs like, I mean, even, you know, in my head, I confess, I mean... Even if they brought Bruce back up on stage and did I Walk Alone, I mean,
my gosh,
it would
that'd be incredible.
It'd be incredible. And it would be like, I'm not going to say easy, but it's doable.
It's doable.
If they can play The Elder on the Kiss Cruise, they can play anything on the Kiss Cruise.
Kiss.
And people were freaking out when they played The Oath, when they played I.
So you know they freak out for Carnival.
They've done Under the Rose, Mr. Blackwell. They've played like over half of The Elder on the Kiss Cruise, and yet not one single song.
That's just not right. I don't understand. Because so many of these songs would translate live so well.
And the Kiss Cruise crowd is that crowd.
Yes.
They're that crowd.
I understand. I completely understand why it hasn't been played on tour. That makes sense.
Makes perfect sense.
That makes sense to
Never
me.
will.
It's like why they don't play the Elder on tour. Like, obviously. But Kiss Cruise or something like that, like, oh, come on. I would love to see that. I love these songs.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, I'll tell you what. So for my Kiss Spotlight, maybe everybody will be a little happier with mine since you kind of rode with a 90. No, I'm just kidding. No, so my Kiss Spotlight actually this week is Hotter Than Hell. Because I think the last time... I'm not sure how recent it was, but I know the Originals was in my spotlight because we were celebrating the release of the Originals.
Right.
I listened to the first album, Hotter Than Hell, Dressed to Kill, and then I was like, you know what? I need to go back to Hotter Than Hell because I just love that album and I wanted to hear that album. Brought it with me in the car, listened to it on Spotify, and it is just absolutely awesome. Yeah. I think that album, it may be one of the best Kiss 70s albums.
Okay.
It's hard to rank those 70s albums because they're just so core Kiss.
Yeah.
that
they're all necessary.
It's not like the 80s and 90s
Yeah.
where, you know, you can kind of like pick and choose, like, yeah, this one goes at the bottom. It's
Yeah.
like, how do you seriously and honestly rank the 70s Kiss albums without being disrespectful to any of those Kiss albums?
Right.
Because one
they're
has to be at
iconic
the top,
and
one
they're
has to be at
necessary.
the bottom. So,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, they're necessary. So for me, I don't know, maybe it's because of the heaviness, maybe it's because of the raw. I love dirty, raw Kiss. You mentioned Carnival of Souls. I love Monster. Harder Than Hell is right up that alley. So for me, I just wanted to hear Harder Than Hell. Songs like Mainline and All the Way are very underrated.
I love Mainline.
They really don't. I think they both did get played on the Kiss cruise, but they're just not the ones that you're going to see played live. Not like Harder Than Hell, Got to Choose, Going Blind,
Right.
even Let Me Go Rock and Roll. But I think Coming Home is the one that suffers the worst from the muddy production because
Yeah.
it really is a good song.
Yeah.
But it's hard to tell listening to that version because we all know that version shines on Unplugged.
Yeah, that's exactly
fact
what
that
I was
was
about
the
to
opening
say. That's why I
song.
know that song is so good, is because of Unplugged.
Yeah, and when you hear it with the acoustic and a much cleaner production, like everything stands out much more. Whereas I feel like with this one, everything is just like lost and smushed together. Now, some songs on the album, that's fine, it works. It's a heavy raw album, but I don't know. I do think it's interesting that there's two Peter Criss lead vocals. You got Mainline and Strange Ways.
You're right.
Although I think Strange Ways, Peter said, if you don't let me sing, I'll quit the band. He said that like 4 or 5 times. If I don't do this, I'm going to quit the band.
Yeah.
And Gina Paul, of course, had to give in. But either way, he did a great job singing lead. Of course, Ace wouldn't sing lead until Love Gun, which is kind of a bummer because he was writing a lot of these songs.
That's true.
You know, he wrote Cold Gin, of course, in the first album. Parasite from Hotter Than Hell is also his. Which other ones did he write? Of course, I don't get any song credits on the back. I don't know, like Strange Ways. I can't confirm that. Maybe that one was an Ace really lead, but Getaway on Dress to Kill.
Yeah.
That's Ace. Ace wrote Getaway.
Wow.
Peter sings it, but Ace wrote that.
Interesting.
And it's like, I mean, I get it. You know, it was his personal decision. You know, hey, no, I'm just the lead guy, songwriter guy. I'll sing lead when I want to, if I want to. You know, but it would have been cool maybe to hear Ace sing lead more on some of those.
Yeah, it makes me wonder what kind
early
of
songs.
Ace lead songs we would have got on those first couple albums.
Yeah, it would
if he
have
had
been
chosen to
either
do
Cold
that.
Gin or Parasite or
Or if
you
he
know,
would have written something more Spaceman specific, like Shock Me. Like, that would be very interesting.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because even though they were going with the characters in the beginning, the Demon, Starchild, Catman, Spaceman, there wasn't really any Spaceman themed songs until songs like Shock Me and Rocket Ride.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of interesting. Anyway, so that's my Kiss Spotlight. That's her Kiss Spotlight. If you guys want, let us know in the comments your Kiss Spotlight, what you've been jamming to, what you've been rocking to. Like I said, this is just going to be kind of a hit and run episode. How many times do we, when we get done filming an episode, about 20 minutes later, I'm like, I forgot to mention this.
Every time.
I wanted to mention this. I forgot. Crap, I forgot. You know, so this is that episode. Today is that episode where we get to catch up.
Go back and hit all those things we missed.
Because I don't think we mentioned Jimmy Page showing up at the Kiss show
didn't.
in London, which I thought was absolutely awesome because I know that Paul's a huge Zeppelin fan and Paul and Jimmy have gotten together in the past.
Yeah, they've been friends for a long time.
But Jimmy was there.
That's so cool.
At the Kiss show.
I love that.
The lead guy from Led Zeppelin and, well, not the lead guy. I mean, Robert Plant was the lead frontman, but lead guitarist, you know, the man himself, Jimmy Page. And I don't know, I think it's cool because I get so upset when, and it is what it is, whatever, but it just bothers me when you hear people like Steven Tyler from Aerosmith or Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath who are so quick to just call Kiss the clowns of rock and roll and are quick to just dismiss them and, you know, kind of talk to him about him in that way. But you have guys like Jimmy Page who, let's face it, Zeppelin's one of the biggest bands ever.
Yeah, he's a rock legend.
Yeah, they had nowhere near the legacy or the longevity that Kiss did.
Right.
Didn't need it. It was like the Beatles. It was just stamped, etched forever in time. But again, you know, Black Sabbath is kind of this. No, they had a much longer tenure. But anyway, it's nice to see guys like Jimmy Page who will say that Kiss is, you know, I forget what his quote was because I think he tweeted or said something like, "Well, that's a real rock show.
Yeah.
You know, this is real." You know, rock and roll right here. And that was just really cool to hear that kind of validation, that kind of vindication right there, because I feel like so many rock stars are so quick to just kind of snub Kiss.
Yeah,
like critics
definitely.
And everybody else. But no, there was a little video of somebody, I guess, who was with Jimmy Page was taking a video of Paul flying to the Love Gun stage, and when Paul saw Jimmy, he saw him right next to the stage and kind of bowed to him,
awesome.
pointed to him, and then kind of kept singing Love Gun. But Jimmy Page got a front row seat to the Paul Stanley show.
That's great.
Right there, and I guarantee Paul made sure to put him there.
Oh yeah,
so give Jimmy free tickets. Put him right there in front of the B stage, so that when I'm there, he gets front row seat to the Star Child show. Yeah, that's so funny. But no, either way, it was just cool to see Jimmy Page showing up at a Kiss show. And that's a good thing that happened at the Kiss show. So here's something that I didn't mention that was almost really bad. So at the Berlin show, Gene had a mishap during the fire breathing. And no, it wasn't as bad as him catching his hair on fire.
That makes me nervous. I don't know about this.
That's happened before. But no, this one, I mean, again, it wasn't that bad, but it easily could have been bad. So obviously we know when Gene gets up there, breathes fire, he shoots his flame into the sword and then stabs the sword into the ground in the little box they have there. Well, when Gene threw that sword into the box tipped over.
No.
And the sword fell out, and it fell onto the stage. And luckily, a roadie or a security person or whoever turned around and saw it and was able to kind of push it up and push it back. Otherwise, it was this close to catching the whole stage on fire.
Oh my gosh, that's
because it tipped over, and so you got the flame just sitting right here by the floor. And luckily, somebody either felt some heat, why is it hot? Oh, okay, And of course, Gene's looking down like, somebody gonna get that?
Well, I'm sure that, like you said, there are roadies and people just right off stage every time something dangerous like that happens. Like, they're using fire and things like that. I'm sure they are right there, like, super vigilant, just watching, ready to run in case of something like that.
Yeah, hopefully.
So I'm sure they were on top of it, and that's good.
No doubt. Hopefully nobody out there gets complacent, because it's like things like that can go wrong at a moment. Remember when Gene was coming down in the intro? And the thing tilted.
Oh, that was
and
so scary.
It was like, dang, what if, thank goodness something happened, but it could have easily been, way worse. It's like these guys really do go out on a limb to give us the best show.
It's dangerous.
And they're not young guys anymore. So the fact that they're still doing this is great. But yeah, no, I was watching this footage because of course the video had a title, Gene Simmons fire fail, or almost catches fire to stage. I'm thinking, what? And yeah, sure enough, it falls over, and luckily somebody was able to hoist it up, and then the guy came out and covered it up, took it up, and took it back. Speaking of
close call.
Yeah, very, very close call. And speaking of mishaps, did you see where I showed you this? I don't know what show it was, so I can't figure out the date. Maybe somebody out there knows, but it was definitely over in the European tour, obviously on the European leg. But Kiss, very recently, Kiss was opening, and during the opening, when the curtain drops and the "You Wanted the Best," remember how the hum started?
Yes.
And then I think it was before the video even ended of Kiss walking to the stage, there wasn't even a "You Wanted the Best, You Got the Best."
No, they skipped
or maybe there was. I don't know, but it went right into...
Not in the video that I saw.
Like, all of a sudden, you just heard the intro to Detroit Rock City, the guitar intro, and then the curtain just drops, pyro,
and
that's
it was so sudden. It was
weird.
There was no build-up, and there was no "You Wanted the Best."
It was like somebody...
It's very strange.
I don't know. I mean, I can't even think of what would happen. But all of a sudden, Tommy starts just playing the intro. Eric Singer drums, pyro, curtain drops, and there was no "You Wanted the Best." And if there was, it was very quick, or it was cut off. And then that video they show was cut off, and it was just super weird.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure somebody else shared a video. I didn't see this, so I just heard about this. So if it's wrong, it's wrong. But I thought I heard also where there was the same thing, but the opposite.
Okay.
Where it was like a really extended
Did it
intro.
vamp too long?
Where it was, everything took forever to get through it. And it was like, man, I don't know what was going on those last few shows of the European leg, but...
weird.
But it was weird. There was a few mishaps. I don't know.
It makes me think that there was somebody different, running controls that night than usual, because it's usually such a well-oiled machine. Like, it's the same thing every single night for the intro, so that's odd. Yeah,
but I mean, even with Gene, Gene made the mistake of, throwing the sword a little too off to the right, threw the balance off, or, anything could have happened.
Weird vibes in Europe.
Weird vibes in Europe, but that's okay. So that's one thing I wanted to mention. This is something else from Paul now. So Paul tweeted a picture of Kiss in 74 on stage next to a picture of Kiss on stage in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And he said something along the lines of, 2019 was wonderful, great shows. The shows in New York are going to be even bigger. He said the final shows will be even bigger.
I did not see this.
All caps with a period. And I stopped and thought, what does he mean by that?
Yeah.
Because I immediately
What a strange
wrote it
thing to
off
say.
as, okay, well, I think there was some reason to it. Like, maybe they were like, well, of course, it's the 50th anniversary, so it was just a really cool picture of Kiss from 74 and 2019 back to showing a before and after. And Paul said, yeah, those in the road shows in the beginning were really great, but these final shows are going to be even bigger. So I'm thinking, is he talking about hype? Is he talking about crowds?
Yeah.
Or does he mean new stage?
I hope new stage. Oh, how dope would that be?
Because I just feel like after this long, with this End of the Road tour, they've had the same stage for a while. How awesome would it be to have a new, fresh stage that is specific to only those last two shows in Madison Square Garden?
Yeah. Or even just the last leg of the U.S. tour.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm selfishly hoping for that,
for sure,
so that we can see it.
Because we have two shows coming up, or a show for you, two shows for me. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
So that would be dope. Like, as soon as they get back to the U.S. for those final couple of months to change it. But even if not, even for New York would be so cool. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
There needs to be something different for the end. It can't just be the same thing we've gotten.
I feel like, Kiss has been, I don't know, it's like they could be doing it on purpose, to like make us feel like, yeah, we're going to get the same set list and the same show, only to just change it at the last minute. Like, that's my hope. Now, I could be, kind of just gassing it and projecting everything, but I think it'd be awesome to have one new final stage. Whether it is for the last handful of shows or just those last two. I think it needs to be something.
I agree.
And the fact that Paul's tweeting it makes me think something.
Right.
Because they have
something has to be different than the way the show is right now, or he wouldn't say it's gonna be bigger.
Yeah, and plus they have, all this, like a month or two off.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna be playing, right now it's August 11th, so they have, I think, one show in Wisconsin and a couple Ohio shows.
Okay.
And then I know for a fact in October is when things kick off for real in the U.S. October, November, and that's going to come to a head in the very beginning of December. But for this little gap they have right now, it's like they could easily be rehearsing for new songs.
Absolutely.
They could be building new stages, doing final preparations, working with whoever to get things finalized. It's like, I don't know. Again, I could just be in my fantasy land, but I kind of want to be right now. I want to be in my fantasy land. So do I,
and I think there will be something. I mean, this is Kiss that we're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't see them just ending without going out with a bang.
Yeah, and here's my thought for the 70s fans out there. Imagine Kiss in Madison Square Garden, the curtain drops, and you see the fully lit logo, LED. I mean, they're going to have a screen there, too, because it just enhances it.
That's what I've been wanting.
But they did it on the farewell tour. They did it in 2010. It is possible. It could happen.
There's something about that lit up
the physical
Kiss logo. I love it.
KISS, Kiss. Yeah, they could. Yeah, that'd be so awesome.
I hope so.
So, I mean, I'm just thinking, like, if they curtain drops, you see, of course, a screen, but also somewhere a physical logo. They have the Alive 2 staircase that maybe they still descend on down the stage, but they are also going to use these stages, And I'm not saying they're going to have just like the Sphinx and the monster and
not
the
a combo of every stage ever.
Statue of Liberty all at the same time.
That'd be wild.
Ridiculous. But it would be nice for them to have a stage that is specific only to.
Yeah.
That way we can be like, oh yeah, the Alive 2 stage.
Yeah.
The Kiss Rocks Vegas and the the Spider and all that. And the end of the road. Not the end of the road, but the final show.
The final end of the road.
The stage.
Yeah.
They did the Dubai show was basically the end of the road stage scaled up.
Yes.
Which was great. And
it was awesome, but it was the same concept.
It was the exact same concept, just scaled up like 5 times, basically.
Right.
Pyro scaled up 5 times, which was great. It worked for the event itself. But no, you got to do something new, something fresh. I'm not saying it has to be on par with the Spider. But, I mean, with the way technology has been advancing and the way that Kiss has been capitalizing on that for the last 10 years, ever since the Spider.
Yeah.
Well, ever since. Always. But I just mean, like, in terms of, like, a modern day. Just, gosh, they got to do something cool. Set list, stage. That's just my thought, my wish list. Let me know what you guys think.
Do you think they'll keep the same costumes, or do you think they'll change?
No, I think they're going to keep the same. There's no reason to...
That would be kind of a waste, wouldn't it?
Get brand new costumes. I mean, if they did, it'd be great.
See,
but you're also risking whether the crowd likes it or not, because
true.
I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw the End Road outfits, the close-up pic, I was like, they're whatever.
You were underwhelmed.
Yeah, I was like, whatever. But when I saw the full body picture, the full shot, I was like, That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I like. Monster, for me, you can't beat Monster. Monster, I think, was like my favorite outfits of the band.
Yeah.
But at this point, I've gotten so used to the end of the road costumes that if they did not change costumes, it wouldn't bother me.
Yeah, I don't think they need to, but we were talking about, it being a kind of a waste if they only change it for the last couple. That's kind of how I feel about the stage. Like, if they, like, do this big new stage, like, it almost seems like a waste to only do it for the last 2 shows. So that's the only thing that, like, gives me hope that maybe they'll do it for the last couple of months. But
True.
We'll see.
I do see that, yeah. They done, like, one-off stages a few times. Like, the Unplugged stage was kind of its own thing.
Right, but that's not as huge and elaborate, you know what I mean?
No. I would love a unique stage, but we'll see. I don't know. That's one rumor, I guess, I have, is whether there could be a new stage or a new set list or anything. But anyway, so this one, I'm not sure where this originated, so I apologize that I can't give credit to whoever needs to get credit for it, but I've been hearing a few times, a few different places, that Evan Stanley could be the opener for Kiss on some of these last shows, or a few of these shows, or maybe just one show. I don't know.
Interesting.
But I've heard that Paul's oldest, Evan, could be a candidate to open some of these shows. And so, on one hand, I thought that was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. On one hand, I thought it was a little bit, too...
Nepotism.
Yeah, it was a little too pointed.
Yeah.
A little too obvious. But I don't know, I kind of wanted to just kind of, whether it's true or not, just open it up here and kind of ask, how do you feel about Evan? How would you feel if Evan opened up a show that you were at, or you saw some videos online?
Yeah, no, I think it'd be cool. I definitely could understand where somebody would be coming from if they thought it was a little odd, or thought it was a little, like, kind of playing favorites because it's a family member. But on the other hand, we know that Evan is incredibly talented, so I don't feel like it would just because he's Paul's son. Like, I think he would put on a good show from what I've seen of him, which isn't much, but from what I've seen of him, he seems to be a really talented and dedicated performer, just like his dad. So
yeah,
I think it'd be cool, especially because, I mean, we, and I'm sure a lot of other Kiss fans, have never had the opportunity to see him before.
True.
Because he's obviously not on Kiss's level as far as fame and touring and stuff. So I think it'd be cool to have the opportunity, but I definitely can see where other people are coming from with, if they would prefer to see a more established band that they're a fan of. I don't know. I see both sides.
I'm kind of indifferent on it. I mean, like I said, I can get myself worked up emotionally either way, positively or negatively, but I just feel like I'm just kind of in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
I really don't mind.
It doesn't really bother me.
My
but
focus
it's not like
at
the
this
best thing
point
ever.
is Kiss.
Yeah.
Like, to me,
I don't even need an opener.
I don't need an opening band.
I'd rather not, honestly.
I've said this a million times. I'll say it again. I don't need some band coming out saying, "Hey, thank you. We'll go get our new album. This is our new." Which, I mean, I feel like I shouldn't say that because I've also said in the past that Kiss should take more responsibility at pushing newer bands and getting newer acts and giving them that platform. But that should have been done a long time ago.
Say, at this point,
this is the time to celebrate Kiss and
right,
Kiss only.
At this point in the last 6 months, I don't think that matters anymore.
I just
don't, all about Kiss right now.
Yeah, I just don't want to see some other band coming out. And now Evan, I'm not putting it in this category. Right. I would love to see Evan, but I'm talking about like another big band or even the next up and coming band. Right. It's like that should have been done tours ago. This is Kiss and Kiss only, the end of the road. So let's just celebrate Kiss. Now, having said that, if I were to go see a show and all of a sudden Evan Stanley comes out, I'd be on my feet.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
I'd be clapping. I'd be hooping and hollering because, like you said, Evan's not going to come out and give anything less than his best. In fact, if he has half as much competitiveness as his father does, he will come out and say, "My goal is to bury my dad."
Yeah.
I'm going to come out here and make him think, "Oh, this guy is better not only than his dad, but his dad when he was his age."
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, Evan probably would come with that kind of heat because he
right.
has to prove himself, because it is so hard, not just for the son of a rock star or a son of a legend, but just a rocker anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like with him being Paul's son, it's twice as hard. You think it should be half as easy, but no. Makes it twice as hard.
Really?
Look at Wolfgang Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen's son. Dude gets dragged through the mud for being Eddie's son.
Yeah, honestly.
It's like, the dude's just as talented as his dad, if not more, because he had that growing up, and you know what I mean? It's like people are so quick to to bring down the next generation
right.
just because of B
right.
or XYZ. And
yeah,
it's
because I mean, obviously there is a level of privilege there, but I think people take that way too far because, like you said, it really is a lot harder than people think. Because I think about like the Beatles kids, you know what I mean? Which, I mean, they, a lot of them are successful in their own right at certain things, but the ones who are musicians have kind of struggled, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I feel like Julian probably was the most successful out of all of them, but the rest of them, I mean, have you heard any of their songs? No. Have you heard of any of Donny Harrison's songs? Probably not.
No.
Because that's not as easy as you would think, living in the shadow of such an iconic musician. Like
absolutely.
that.
And I think that, I mean, it would be cool because it would give Evan a huge platform.
Yeah.
And would show people, hey, like, I'm not my dad, and I'm not going to be the next Starchild 2.0. Right. I do not like it when Kiss fans say Nick and Evan should be the next Gene and Paul.
Absolutely
that is the opposite of what should happen.
Agreed.
They are not their fathers. They should not live in their shadows.
Yeah.
They are their own people with their own lives. They may not, even if they wanted to not be musicians.
Right.
If they wanted to be lawyers or doctors or construction workers, whatever it is, they can do whatever they want. But because it just kind of is in their blood and it's in their environment, they are naturally going to be more inclined to go into the route of being a musician. And with Evan, he was in that band, The Dives, a while ago. I don't think they're together anymore. I don't know what his band. See, again, that's maybe it's a good thing because now we'll get to know more about Evan and his music. But I don't know what band he's with now,
or if he's just solo,
or if it's just the Evan Stanley project, or it's just called Evan or whatever. I have no idea.
Yeah,
I have no idea. But when the Dives released their EP, Paul was like, "Dude, check out my son's new album." Like, I bought it because I wanted to support Evan, and it was actually really good.
Yeah, I remember that.
I still have it actually. I didn't buy it; there wasn't a physical, but I bought the files for it. I still got it on my computer to listen to it. But, so I don't know what band he's with or, what they're doing. I've seen a few clips, but nothing, too in depth. So, yeah, I know I've been asking everybody to leave so many. You guys can leave multiple comments if you want. You can edit your comment and add to it.
We'll just answer the questions as you go.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
But what do you guys think about Evan? Would you feel like that is, like, super awesome and super cool that he would get that opportunity and you would get to see, who is a real rocker, or is that to you a little bit too pointed, a little bit too, a little too neppy? You guys let me know what you think. Anyway, we'll move on now because this one, I'm not sure how deep I'll get into this, but I just want to mention it because I feel like nobody's talking about it. And that is the fact that Paul, Tommy, and Eric were just in the studio.
What?
They were at a place called La Roca Studio in Mexico, and were hanging out. Paul Stanley released this video. I don't know if it was Paul himself, but somebody filmed a video of Paul that said the studio is amazing. They got the vintage. He was naming off all these different, different equipment they had, like the vintage Teltronic and the Pool Tech, and he was like, the stuff that I grew up with. He said, I'm going to live here. And again, were they recording music? I don't know.
Well, why are they at a studio?
But they were playing, and just look up on YouTube, Kiss La Roca Studio. See if you can find the video. I found one Instagram story linked video, and then a full 20-minute video of Paul getting a tour. Paul, Tommy, and Eric, all three were there getting a tour. Paul made a pizza for the guy who owns the label, or owns the studio.
They were talking,
and then you even see, I'm not sure what they were playing because it wasn't Kiss, but Tommy, Paul, and Eric were playing the instruments. They were in the studio.
That's so fun.
And I'm like, what were they doing? It could have been visiting. It could
have just been a tour.
They could have been invited by the owner, or maybe they requested a private tour. Paul brought his own wine from the Paul Reserve or whatever, just to kind of share with everybody. And it was an interesting video because I'm like, now is this just a for fun thing? Like, oh, we're Kiss and we get cool treatment, we can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Or is this them kind of going in the studio and low key? I know I'm reaching. There's no way there's gonna be a new Kiss album or a Kiss single or anything. But I'm like, just
maybe a song though.
But why are Tommy, Paul, and Eric
just
in the studio
being in proximity
at the
to
same
studio
time?
is very concerning to me.
And the camera was filming them playing. Again, they weren't playing.
You need to show me this.
They weren't playing any Kiss song I ever heard. So
right.
It was either like another song, or it could have been a new song. I don't know. Wow. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend.
You need to show me this video.
Get everybody wild up because it's probably not true. But I'm just thinking, either they're having some fun or they're just gonna sneak something in. I don't know.
But like, I don't know. It's interesting because
Why
like
would
they
be?
could have just, if they wanted to do this tour and like go visit this place, whatever, they could have just done it. But the fact that they
There's a
filmed
video.
it and allowed
Somebody
it
edited it.
and
Somebody edited a video.
and allowed it to be posted to social media is very interesting.
Very cool.
That's all I'll say. It's interesting.
And nobody's
it might
talking
be nothing,
about it.
But
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody else talk about it yet. Maybe I just haven't been caught up on all my Kiss media, but
wow.
I saw that and
That is definitely
heard
news to
that
me.
and thought I'll try and find it, leave a link in the description if I can. But I just thought, whoa, wild stuff. So there's that. Speaking of Paul in the studio, I also did recently hear where he teased possible new Soul Station music coming next year,
Yes.
2025. Who knows?
I hope so. That
I was
is
gonna
very
ask. That's
exciting.
very exciting
to me.
for you? Okay.
That's very exciting to me. I love the first Soul Station album.
Okay.
And like it's one that like grew on both of us the more we listened to it. Like
Oh, yeah.
you know, I kind of have to be in a certain mood to listen to it because obviously it's not rock and roll.
Right.
But it's really good stuff, and I would love to see what they would do with a second album. And what if he would continue to do a mixture of covers and originals.
Yeah.
Because I mean the covers were great, but the originals on that album
Slap.
slapped so hard.
Yeah.
They were so good. And so I would love to see more Soul Station Paul Stanley originals. That's very exciting to me.
I would too. My running theory is that if he does do another one, it should be flip-flop from the last one. The last one he had predominantly covers and tributes and, you know, like that, and then a few originals.
Right.
Now I think it's time to do a full album of originals, but if you
Couple
also
covers.
want to have a few
I agree.
covers to throw back and give homage to, and also have a sense of familiarity on the
Right.
record, and
I
you know,
agree.
maybe release one of those as a single since it's already a big song.
Yeah.
But I think with how good those originals were, they need to be the most
I agree.
featured on the album, because I'm not gonna lie, those to me were better than the
Save Me, probably the best song on the album.
Save Me and then IOI. And the reason why is because a lot of those other ones, they had that original sound to them.
Right.
Whereas those songs had that flavor, but in the same Kiss rock and roll,
Yeah.
four on the floor, drum beat sort of like.
Yeah, those
where-
songs could have been converted into Kiss songs.
if you were just to like give
Just
a little more
slightly
tone.
change the genre a little
Put
bit.
Gene in the, oh yeah, in the background or something, you know, like, yeah, but no, those songs were really, really good.
Yeah.
And if those are the ones that made the album, who knows if he had more, was working on more, just didn't get some finished. I don't know.
That's exciting.
I'm with you because I like that album.
I do
A lot of
too.
fans didn't. A lot of fans were like, "This is trash.
Well,
it's not what we
if
want."
it's not your vibe, it's not your vibe because it's not rock and roll. It is more soul.
Yeah,
But,
it's way different.
But it's good music, and I would love to see, and I feel like we probably will see once this tour is over and once Kiss is done touring. I think we'll see. I do think we'll see a new Soul Station album, and I think we'll see Paul touring with Soul Station at some point.
Yeah.
I think it'll be obviously a more low key tour than Kiss tours. But I would love to see that because imagine getting to go see that live.
Oh,
That would be awesome.
I want to be front row.
That would be
for that.
awesome because and I think a lot of you, if you're not into the album, I think seeing something like that live would probably convert you.
That's a live thing for
It
sure.
is
Oh
because
man.
because every single musician that he collaborates with in Soul Station is like top tier.
Yeah, they know what they're
so
doing.
talented professionals. And so to see all of that live would be incredible. That's my new wish for after End of the Road is
And
over.
you know that it would be in like a smaller place where the crowds are more reasonable.
Yeah, and maybe
It's a
like
lot
general
more
admission type
intimate.
of thing. Like,
Oh yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm gonna pretend that that's happening, so I have something to look forward to after the tour's over.
For sure.
So speaking of tours and Paul Stanley, another thing that we saw on Twitter recently is, in fact, I want to pull it up so I can see what his caption was, but Paul Stanley and his family went to the Taylor Swift Eras Tour
They did.
concert, one of the ones in LA recently.
I was wondering if he was going to.
Yeah, and so he posted this great photo of himself in an Eras Tour t-shirt talking about like his experience, and I need to see more photos because that's the only photo that's come out is just
Him in the shirt.
him alone in the shirt, but he says that he took his family, and I want to see more. So he said it's just him in the t-shirt. He said, took Aaron, Sarah, and Emily to see Taylor Swift last night. 6 shows at SoFi Stadium for a total of 500,000 people, and I know why. Phenomenal show by a phenomenal artist. Thanks to her staff for rolling out the red carpet for us.
That's really cool. So her staff knew he was coming?
Yes.
Or at least had the VIP set up?
Because he, I believe Paul, his family, and also we know that that Shannon and Sophie Simmons were there.
Facts.
And the photos we saw of Sophie and Shannon, they were in the VIP tent. So I'm sure that Paul and his family were too.
Wow.
Which is like, a small tent of kind of the famous people that like either got invited or got the red carpet rolled out for. That's like really close to the stage.
Wow.
And I just think that's so cool, and I'd love to see like him respect her as an artist like that.
That one post we saw where the two photos were next to each other and it said Paul gives credit to,
yes!
and you see both Paul and Taylor. I was like, whoa. They're in the same post together.
I need them to meet. That would blow my mind.
What's really cool is that Paul Sidoti, who's Taylor's guitar player,
yes, we love
massive Kiss fan,
yes,
commented on Paul's status and said, "Shoot, had I known you were there or were coming, I would have wanted to
I bet
meet
he was
you."
so disappointed.
Yeah, because of course I'm sure
they've
was like,
met a few times. I know they've met a few times, but like
yes.
I am sure he was like, "Are you serious?"
Paul was.
He
at
probably
the show.
went to Taylor's team and was like, "Why didn't you tell me?"
I commented on his comment and said, "I need a picture of Paul and Paul together." That would
definitely that'd be so awesome.
It got a few likes, so. But that was pretty cool.
I'm hoping at some point, I would love to see like a photo of Paul and his family, because I'm sure like his daughters that went with them are big Taylor Swift fans. I'd love to see their little get-ups and bracelets and all that stuff. So just thought that was a neat and yet another Taylor and Kiss crossover.
Yeah, I mentioned Paul, I mentioned earlier how Kiss, probably should have done better at pushing new bands. I mean, they did bring Caleb Johnson out on tour with them, and they had the Dead Daisies and the Envy and other bands open for them. But regardless, it is nice to see Paul giving sort of props to some newer artists. I mean, of course, Taylor, but yeah. But when we saw Kiss and they play songs before the show, he had Harry Styles' song up there, and I think even on Twitter, again, vocally was like, "Dude, this album is great. You got to get it."
Yeah.
So it's cool to see that Paul's, he's keeping hip, he's staying fresh. Paul be on his phone.
He's on his phone. See, and those of you that just don't listen to pop music as a rule, you're missing out. Even Paul Stanley listens to Harry Styles and Taylor Swift. Just saying.
Well, Paul definitely likes his pop music.
Absolutely, yeah. And if you don't, that's fine. That's just because it's my thing doesn't mean it has to be yours.
I just prefer a little bit of crunch. I prefer electric guitar.
I get it.
Need some crunch. Which, speaking of that, we're going to go see The Warning next week.
Oh my gosh, you're right. I'm so excited.
That is a rock band that everybody
6 days.
needs to check out.
Yeah.
If you have not heard of The Warning, just look up the song Money.
Yeah. I mean, if you want crunchy rock music, that is...
Their album Error is great. So we're going to go see The Warning. We're going to go see Nickelback here soon.
Same weekend.
And then we have 2 Kiss shows after that. So.
Greta Van Fleet in September. It's going to be... These next few months are just packed full of concerts. I'm very excited.
Crazy. So again, just kind of continue on with some hit and run stuff here. So Gina Paul just opened up a new Rock and Brews.
Yes, I forgot about that.
In Milwaukee, which is...
They're getting closer.
They're getting closer to us. Almost to us. They got one in Milwaukee. They got one in Missouri.
Yeah.
If they could just get there to Indianapolis, man, I tell you what, I would love to have a Rock and Brews.
Even like Cincy or something.
Cincinnati. I would.
I would go. That's not that far.
The amount of times that I would drive to Rock and Brews just to have lunch and back is ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
I would drive an hour and a half and then back.
Cincy's about an hour and a half.
Because I love what they're doing with the Rock and Brews. I mean, because like some of it is Kiss themed, but it's rock and roll themed.
Right, yeah.
You go
it's not
in,
just a Kiss themed
It's Jimi
restaurant.
Hendrix and Rolling Stones on the walls. It's Pink Floyd. You got like the Dark Side of the Moon table.
That's so cool.
The Back in Black table, a Destroyer table. Like each table is like its own album, its own band.
That's awesome.
And the food is supposed to be like Five Guys, Applebee's above level, where it's like not like just regular fast food, but
but still
one step
American
up,
food, but classy.
American food, like fries and burgers and stuff, like your Hard Rock Cafe.
It's so good.
It's like Hard Rock Cafe, but owned by Gene and Paul.
Right. Yes.
I think that's what Gene and Paul are going for, because these Hard Rock Cafes are just like little mini Rock and Roll Hall of Fames, where they're just little, which I mean, it's
memorabilia
cool.
everywhere.
Yeah, it's cool, but it also becomes sort of, I don't know, it becomes kind of cheesy.
Yeah, it's a little gimmicky.
Yeah, a little gimmicky. And Gene and Paul, you can tell, are trying to be authentic with it. And so I like that. And Gene and Paul, with their business ventures, I love supporting them in any way I can. But They got to open up one closer to us.
Please. Well, and it's really interesting to me that they haven't because, like, I know it's not just a Kiss restaurant, but because of how huge they are in the Midwest and Indiana specifically, honestly, the Kiss Army literally started here. And there are so many fans here, and that's why they keep coming back to this area with the tour. So I don't understand because they would be so successful. So I'm hoping, you know, they keep adding restaurants every now and then. So I'm hoping maybe somewhere closer to us will be next.
Yeah, I'm glad that this is the one project that they've done outside of Kiss that has continued on, because we know that Gene and Paul like to do other things outside of music and rock and roll, of course. You know, that's just who they are. They're entrepreneurs, they're businessmen, they're creative, so that's what they want to do. But not everything is guaranteed to be forever or, you know, long-lasting. I thought LA Kiss was cool, but it wasn't meant to last. I mean, the league folded.
Right.
You know, they pulled out and then the league folded. So it's like, even if LA Kiss did stick around, it was going to go away. Either way, you know, but it was still fun while it lasted. It was cool, you know, I wish I got to go see one of those games because they seemed just so hype. Yeah. But I had a ball and a game program and a T-shirt and
wine glass. we used it, didn't we, on the Kiss cocktail video?
The LA Kiss wine glass, great throwback. Yes, you're right. So the LA Kiss thing was cool, but it wasn't built to last. It wasn't gonna last. So Rock and Brews, it's cool to see not just it continue on, but they're expanding. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's multiple locations now. So,
like, obviously it's a successful venture because it keeps going.
It'll move out here to the Midwest. But anyway, so that's really it for all the kind of updates and rumors and things that I wanted to discuss, just because, again, there's been a lot of things that's been going on, but either we've been celebrating other things, like the originals and Revenge and Extreme Close Up and Kiss Alive 4. We just celebrated Kiss Alive 4. So in the midst of all that, I wanted to make sure I get to some of these things. And of course,
these current things.
And I even just want to real quickly hop on to Kiss Online real quick and look at the tour dates and see where we're at, because I know, like I said, they have a show in Crandon, Wisconsin. That's on the 1st of September. So that's it. So they have one show in September, and that's it until their last show in Sydney, Australia. I forgot they're going back to Sydney.
Yeah, they're doing one.
And they're going back to Dubai.
Right, just for one show each, and then back.
This is crazy, man. God. Okay, so they got the one show in Crandon, and then they got Sydney.
So
Dubai.
There's nothing before September 1st?
Okay. No. So that's why I'm thinking they have this whole month to rehearse, prepare, switch stuff up, or just relax.
Yes.
You know, go to Mexico,
both is fine, but
visit some recording studio and drink some wine.
But like they got time to rest after. I feel like they're
got their whole lives
for some big stuff. Like
I hope so.
I feel it. Something's gonna happen.
I'm excited for it. So this is usually the part of the episode where I like to open something up and show you guys what I've been collecting and some new additions to my collection. But I'm actually going to save that for the next video because it just is deserving of its own video. I've thought about just taking the last bit of this episode to do it, but I thought, man, no. What I've got coming needs its own video.
Yeah, there's too much to talk about.
There's too much to talk about. So if you want to see that, definitely come back next week for that full video. It's going to be awesome. I can give you a little sneak peek here. If you see my necklace, I'm wearing a guitar pick necklace with Eric Carr and Bruce Kulick on it.
I love it.
From the God Gave Rock and Roll music video. It is my new favorite thing right now. And so if you want to see this and more, some new stuff, check out the next video.
Definitely.
I actually do only have, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, I forgot to mention how colorful and awesome our shirts are today.
Yeah, so...
We didn't plan this, but we both chose very vibrant colors.
This laptop, sometimes I wear the best Kiss shirts. You guys usually can't see them. But this laptop sometimes covers up my Kiss shirt. But yeah, so this is the 40th anniversary. I'm going to knock over everything behind me. This is my 40th anniversary t-shirt. Decades of Decibels
so
there.
Good.
Love what color is this? It's not
maroon.
Pink, it's not purple, maroon. There you go. It's a maroon. And you're wearing a
and I've
nice...
got this amazing purple tie-dye Destroyer t-shirt.
Now, is this glow in the dark? Is this the one that glows in the dark, or is it a different one?
That's a different one.
That's a different one. Okay, for sure.
But this one is definitely one of your old t-shirts, but I love it.
For sure. Yeah, speaking of shirts, I do actually have one thing for us to open.
Okay, well, I'm glad I said shirt.
I don't know if it's a good thing. I don't know if it's...
Oh, no.
Because I'll go ahead and set it up. So, I was in a group chat with some of the other Kiss podcasters, and somebody sent in... The boys. Yeah, the boys and I, talking about Kiss, somebody dropped a link to this Asylum t-shirt. that we...
I forgot about this. Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
yeah. So there was somebody like, hey, check out this cool asylum shirt that somebody's selling randomly on Walmart.com.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Rob got one. Brant might have. AJ might have gotten one. I don't know if Rick did or not, but like I know I got 3.
Yeah.
One for me, one for you, one for Jeb.
I saw you ordering it and it was so cheap and I was like, get me one.
So they're here.
But what?
But
what?
I'll go ahead and give you yours and you tell me what you think.
Does it suck?
So this is a medium.
Are they tiny?
I don't know. You tell me what you think.
Oh. Interesting.
It's a very weird
Ew.
material. Ew, she says.
I'm sure it's hard to tell from where you're looking at it because it is a cool shirt and the shirt itself is very soft. I will say that.
It feels like spandex. The shirt,
well, it's stretchy.
It feels like spandex.
It's soft
The
though,
graphic
but the graphic
itself
is like...
is pretty small, and it's also, I'm pretty sure, an iron-on, which means that if I wash this once, it's going to start cracking. This looks like something that somebody would do with Cricut for like $5.
Yeah,
but,
strange. But I like the back.
Yeah, so it has the
I'll give it a
uncover
chance.
on the front. It has Asylum World Tour on the back. Now, my problem is, look at the sleeves. Because you and I hate...
Oh, they're like
hate tiny sleeves.
They're like women's cut sleeves, but these aren't women's
sleeves,
shirts.
And they're gonna be tight as heck. You know, my guns are gonna be. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. But like, it's, I don't know. I haven't really worn it yet, but I figured we would show it on the show. And
I have mixed feelings, but I will give it a shot.
The day I got mine is the day they got theirs too. I think AJ was like, "Did you guys get your shirt?" Mine's a little bit bigger, but I was wondering if it's like the material or the print is weird on your guys'.
The graphic feels so... I can't even describe what it feels like.
It's an iron-on.
Yeah.
It's that really...
It doesn't feel like part of the shirt.
No, it's not. It's not. No, it definitely is not ingrained into the cloth.
It's just on top.
It's not woven in, if you will. It is literally just a plastic print on top that will probably get maybe 2 or 3 wears out of it. But it was like $10 on Walmart.com, so
and
I
the
can't
fact that
complain.
it's on such stretchy material makes me think it'll come off too. Like I feel like if it was on more of a regular stiff cotton T-shirt, maybe it would stay. But we may just want to not dry them.
Dry them, yeah.
I would not put this in. Yeah, I would just air dry them. I wouldn't put them in a hot dryer.
See, and I'll have to check, but I got mine as a should I'm thinking I should have gotten an extra large, depending on if those sleeves are.
Yeah, sleeves maybe.
But
you know, they were cheap, so at least it looks cool from far away.
I got one, you got one, we got one for Jeb.
Yes.
Anyway, so that's usually it's pretty exciting, but that one was a little different.
A little underwhelming, but I'm still excited to wear it. Yeah,
for sure. And so I think this is where we're going to kind of wrap it up here. Again, like I said, next week, stay tuned because I'm going to be doing a huge unboxing. You're not going to want to miss it. It's so much fun. I'm in the middle of editing it right now. So stick around for that. Like and subscribe. And follow us on Instagram and Facebook, too. We're always posting celebratory Kiss stuff. We're always posting about Kiss memes, Kiss merch, Kiss music, everything with an M. Everything. So Kiss Mania. So definitely follow us and hit subscribe, hit like. It helps the channel grow. I think we're at over 2,000 subscribers. So, again, that's why I wanted to thank everybody in the beginning.
Yes, thank you guys.
Was because without you guys, there would be no show. There would be no channel. I don't know. So, I'm having a really good time doing this, too. I mean, I thought we could have done 5 episodes and then it would have ended. But here we are at 61.
61.
So, not a lot, but who cares? You know,
I mean,
every one of them is a really good time. And the fact that everybody wants to, watch the show. And, you guys leave comments, and I sit there and scroll and, try and reply and read them, and I just have a big smile on my face while doing it. And so I just want to thank you guys so much for being here on episode 61 of the Kiss Army Things podcast. I have no idea what's going to come in episode 62, so I got to just sit around, subscribe, and stay tuned, and we'll have to see you together. So anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. Have a great day, a great week, a great weekend, a great summer, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.